session, we would study the types of equilibrium and then the conditions of equilibrium. All right, friends. So every object, whether it is in a static mode or a dynamic mode, it has to be in equilibrium. So far the safety of the object which is moving or which is in the static mode is concerned. Now, when I talk about static equilibrium, the word static itself tells you that the object is at rest. Say, for example, here you can see there is an object on the table and it's at rest. So there are forces acting. You can see the first force which would be acting on this object is the weight or the force of gravity, which would be acting vertically downwards. And the second force would be the force given by the table in form of a reactive force. Basically, we call it as a normal force as per Newton's third law. Now, if you observe the total forces which are acting on this object, you can see the upward force is nullifying the downward force, and therefore I can say the resultant force would be plus F minus F will ultimately equal to be 0. So if the resultant force on the object is 0, then in that case you can see the object would be in static equilibrium. Alright, friends. The same is the case for this person who is standing on the land here. His weight is being nullified by the normal reaction given by the land. Alright. So such situations lead us to concept called as static equilibrium. Now here in this equation, you might be wondering why I've considered one force as plus F. Plus F is the force which is acting along positive x-axis. There's a normal force. And equal and opposite force which is acting downwards along the negative y-axis would be considered negative, and therefore plus F minus F leads us to 0. But this is about static equilibrium. Second type of equilibrium which we may come across in day-to-day life is dynamic equilibrium. Now what happens in dynamic equilibrium? You can have a look at it, this part of the slide. You say body is the same state of motion or translational, or let it be rotational. Okay, it's in a state of motion. Dynamic means the body is in motion. Okay, that motion can be either translational or rotational, and obviously it is also under the influence of several forces. Now when I'm talking about rotational motion, we have talked about the moment of force or torques, if you all remember. So if they nullify each other, just like the way here the forces nullified each other, then we can say the body is in dynamic equilibrium, friends. All right. So we are supposed to understand the conditions for static equilibrium and dynamic equilibrium, and accordingly we will try solving few problems demonstrating these situations. Please make a note of it before we proceed forward. Once you are done with it, let me know. You can just put it in the chat section that you're done with it, then we move ahead. Okay, most of you say done. So let's proceed further. Right. So again, a brief review about what we have discussed for few people who have entered late. Okay. So we are discussing types of equilibrium. The first type of equilibrium which we have discussed is static equilibrium, where the object is at rest and is in equilibrium. And the second type of equilibrium we talked about is the dynamic equilibrium, where the object is in motion, either translational or rotational, but still it remains in equilibrium. So such situations we would be encountering in the coming sessions, basically, when we talk about equilibrium. So hopefully done. Let's proceed forward then. Let's talk about the conditions for static and dynamic equilibrium. So when we talk about static equilibrium, friends, you can see the resultant of all the forces acting on the body should be 0, or in simple words you can say the algebraic sum of moment of all forces when it comes to dynamic equilibrium, torques acting on the body should be 0 basically. Okay, so either the forces acting on the body should be zero or the torques acting on the body should be zero. The total torque or the total force acting on a body should be zero for the two type of equilibrium. Okay, here we are talking about static equilibrium in specific. Please make a note of it and then we proceed with this greater details. Let me know once you're done with it. Now the important thing over here is how to frame equations for the given conditions to solve problems which appear on these topics. Okay, so most of you say done. Let's proceed forward then. The same thing, then it's give me a moment. Yeah. Same thing can be established in form of equations. Okay, so when we are talking about translational and rotational equilibrium, so together they will constitute what is called as static equilibrium for us. So when we talk about translational equilibrium, we say the summation of all the forces or the net force acting on a body should be zero. Whereas when we talk about rotational equilibrium, friends, the entire torques or the net torque acting on the system should be zero or the body should be zero. The tau net should be zero. Okay. Based on these two conditions, the net force equal to zero and the net torque equal to zero, we would frame equations to solve problems. Please make a note of this slide before we proceed further. Yeah, so people say they are done with it. Most of you, yeah, okay, fine. Let's put this condition in, proper format, friends. Okay, I'm just showing you that. So there are two conditions for equilibrium of a body or a rigid body, basically. Condition for translational equilibrium, you can bifurcate it into two parts. Okay, translational equilibrium and rotational equilibrium. Now, when we are talking about translational equilibrium, you can say in simple words, the vector sum of all the external forces acting on a body should be zero. Okay. So, say for example, if F bar is the resultant external force, then this F bar should be equal to F1 plus F2 plus n number of forces you can call, and all these forces, if you add them in a vector addition way, the total amount should come out to be zero. That's how one equation number one can be framed, okay, for solving a problem. So here you can see, for example, the forces, if it's a three-dimensional entity, then okay, if the forces, it's a three-dimensional entity, then you can just bifurcate this force entirely into three parts. Okay, the components of forces acting along x, components of forces acting along y, and components of forces acting along z, say for example. It's a two-dimensional case. Now the same situation can be established for the forces acting along x-axis. You can just put the entire forces, you add them vectorially, put the entire forces equal to zero. Similarly, the forces acting on y-axis, the summation of all these forces should be equal to zero. So the same equation is then established along x, y, and similarly you can put it along z-axis if required. So as of now, just make a note of this first condition of translational equilibrium. Once you are done with it, please let me know. Okay, so most of you say done. Similarly, what we can do, we can place an equation for rotational equilibrium. Let's see how we place it. Oh, all right. So condition for rotational equilibrium. So you can say the vector sum for all the external torques acting on a body should be zero. then we can assume that the body is in rotational equilibrium. So for example, if tau bar is the resultant torque, external torque, then you can just put this in form of this equation, tau 1 bar plus tau 2 bar. Let's say, for example, there are n number of torques acting on a body. Together, if we add them vectorially, the amount should come out to be 0. That will give you another equation, say equation 4. Yeah, the same thing, the same torque can then be established. You can see the scalar form also, okay, and vector form also. So summation of all the torques in both the cases should be 0 for rotational equilibrium to be maintained, friends. Please make a note of it. Once you are done with it, please let me know. Yeah, so most of you say done. Then if these two conditions, or if you have understood how to set up equations for solving problems, we would try solving few problems on conditions of equilibrium at a basic level. So hopefully you all are ready for that. So let's proceed. Let's move ahead. Okay. So here in this case, this is a problem which you can have a look at. Okay. A 50 Newton seesaw. Here you can see supports two people who weigh 455 Newton and 525 Newton as shown in the figure. You can see there is a fulcrum under the center of gravity of the board. You can see, you can have a look at the fulcrum over here. All right. You can see the 525 Newton person is 1.5 meter away from the center where the fulcrum is located. Now here are two questions on equilibrium. Where does the smaller person sit so that the seesaw is balanced? This is one part which you need to understand. So let this smaller person with a lesser weight sit at distance x from the center or from the point of fulcrum over here. And the second part of the question says, find the upward force Fn exerted by fulcrum. Now, obviously, these two people, they are going to exert some force on the fulcrum, and as per Newton's third law, this fulcrum will exert a normal force upward. So we are supposed to establish or estimate that force as well. Let me know if you have noted down this problem so that we move ahead to solve this problem using the conditions of equilibrium. Okay, so most of you say you have noted down the problem, friends. So let's try and understand how to deal with the problem, solution for this problem. Let's proceed further. Yeah. The first thing, okay, how to solve the problems on torque, okay. So these are the steps which are being discussed over here. What we would do, we would draw a free body diagram. FBD stands for free body diagram. Now, what is a free body diagram? So it's an isolated view of a body which explains or which shows all the forces acting on a body with respect to the directions, okay, with the respective directions you can see. Okay, so here you can see. Then you would be using the conditions of equilibrium. Now, what are the conditions of equilibrium? The translational equilibrium says F net should be 0, and the rotational equilibrium says the net torque should be 0. Then we will frame two equations. We will solve these equations to get the unknown. All right. Now there is a specific note over here. What it says, sometimes you can have, F net equal to 0 equation only for x direction or only for y direction for a given situation. So the problem will decide in which direction along x or y you want to apply this condition. Please make a note of these steps for solving such kind of questions. Oh, please let me know if you are done with it. Yeah. So most of you say done. So using these steps, we can solve the problem. Okay, let's see how. So this is the free body diagram. The first thing is to draw the free body diagram. Now in this free body diagram, you can see the first person is exerting force in the downward direction, that is Fg1. There is a force acting on the fulcrum, so that is the Fg bolt. There is a normal reaction, so Fn acting upwards along positive y-axis. The second person is exerting force in the gravitational direction, gravity, center of gravity, you can see. So Fg2 is that direction. Now the equations which we can apply is if the torque exerted by these two people at the point of fulcrum, center for fulcrum, you can see, should be zero for rotational equilibrium. All right, so let's proceed. So the first thing is we are drawing a free body diagram, friends. Yeah, all right, so hopefully you have understood how to draw a free body diagram. So this is an isolated view where we can show all the forces acting on the body with their respective directions. So here in this case, for such situation, you can see all the forces are acting along y-axis, either positive y-axis or negative y-axis. There are no forces acting along x-axis, if you all remember, or you can see. Let's proceed. Yeah. So here F net should be equal to 0. Forget about tau net, we will come to that later. First thing which we will talk about is the translational equilibrium. So which all are the forces? So Fg1 plus Fg2 plus Fg board. They all are downward forces. These downward forces should be equal to the upward forces for equilibrium. So that's how together all these forces would be equal to 0. So that means Fg1 plus Fg2 plus Fg board should be equal to Fn. So we know Fg1 is 525, Fg2 is 455, and Fg board we can work it out. Okay, what it is acting. So the Fg board is the weight of the plank which would be acting here at the center. So that is 50. So that way, the normal reaction exerted by the fulcrum, the plank, Fn would be 1030 Newton. Please make a note of it. So the first condition of equilibrium, that is a translational equilibrium, that the forces along y-axis equated to 0, gives us the normal force Fn equal to 1030 Newton French. Very, very important step. Please make a note of it. So by using the first condition of equilibrium, what we have done, we have found out the normal force. All right. Yeah. Now the second thing they asked, where should this person, the smaller person, sit? Say he's sitting at distance x from the center, from the point of fulcrum, basically. Okay, for the rotational equilibrium. Now the second situation comes into picture. So hopefully this is done. Let's move ahead then. Okay, so what we will do for solving this? Okay, let's have a look at it. Now whatever we have crossed, we will use that. Okay, tau net should be 0. That means whatever torque is exerted by this person at the center should be equal to torque exerted by this person at the center. So this torque is in anti-clockwise sense, so it will be positive. This torque or moment of force is in clockwise sense, negative. So ultimately tau 1 should be equal to tau 2. Together, if you add them, this minus this should be 0. So one is positive and one is negative, you can see. Therefore, we get this equation tau 1 equal to tau 2. But what is tau 1? Tau 1 is the moment of force because of the first person. So Fg1 multiplied by whatever this distance R1 is. R1 is 1.5. So you know Fg1, you know R1. R1 is 1.5. Similarly, tau 2 is the moment of force exerted by this person. So that is Fg2 multiplied by the momentum. So what is the momentum? Momentum is x. This is what we have assumed. So Fg2 into R2. So R2 is x. So we know everything. Fg1 is known, R1 is known, Fg2 is known. The only unknown is x. So we can solve this equation and find the value of x, which gives us the value of a quantity of a distance where this small person should sit so that the rotational equilibrium is maintained. Hopefully you have understood this uh, problem, how to solve the problem, basically the solution I am talking about. Please put it in the chat section if you have understood it completely so that we proceed further to deal with another type of problem on conditions of equilibrium. Yeah, so most of you say done. So this is how you use condition of, yeah, Aishwarya says understood. Most of you say understood. So good. I mean, this is how you would be solving problems on conditions of equilibrium, friends. So let's proceed further then. Let's go to a tougher problem. Okay, so here you can see a 65 kg painter stands on a 15 kg board held by two supports as shown. So these are the two supports, okay, with the corresponding distances. Calculate the force from the two supports. Now here it's not a fulcrum. Here we are supposed to estimate the normal force exerted at these two supports. Okay. So again, we would need to draw a free body diagram before we solve this problem. Please make a note of this problem and let me know if you have noted it down. Then we discuss the solution of this, the basis of conditions of equilibrium. Please let me know if you are done with it in the chat section so that we discuss the solution of this problem. Okay, so most of you say done. So let's discuss the solution of this problem then. Okay, so the first thing which we would do was we draw a free body diagram. Okay, just have a look at the solution stepwise. Okay, the first thing what we have done is we have drawn a free body diagram. Okay, let's say this girl is a painter, say for example, she would be exerting some force vertically downwards. So Fg painter is the force exerted by her weight. The plank would have its weight and the force would be acting exactly at the center as per the concept of center of gravity, the Fg board. Then obviously the first support will give a normal reaction upwards, that is Fn1. The second support would give a normal reaction, that is Fn2 in the upward direction, that is along positive y-axis. All right. So let's estimate the forces. Okay, Fg painter can be established as m into g. So mg in that case is 638 Newton. Okay, say for example, Fgb, the board, the force exerted by the board is 147 Newton. So most of the things are given to us. Now, using this, what we will do, we will try to frame the equation. The first thing is we are going to estimate, we are going to apply the condition of rotational equilibrium. Okay, so tau net should be 0. Now, first torque exerted by the board plus torque exerted by the painter should be equal to torque exerted by the first force N1. If you take the moments about this point, okay, say the second support, you can see the red dot over here. Okay, now in that case, you can observe the torque exerted by a board can be written as Fg board multiplied by the distance of this force from this red dot. And what is the distance? You can estimate it, okay? So ultimately you'll realize that distance comes out to be 2 plus 2, 4. This entire is 6. This is 2. So this distance is 2 meters. So therefore, it will be 638 multiplied by 2 plus 2, that is 4 meter over here. And it is being taken positive. Why? Because you can see this force is making this point, red point, rotate in an anti-clockwise sense. As per our conventions, the forces which rotate the point in an anti-clockwise manner, we would be considering the torques produced by them as positive, and therefore you can see 638 into 4 is positive. Similarly, the force exerted by the girl is also creating some torque at this red point. So that is Fg multiplied by the distance of that force from the point, that is 2. So you can see it will be 147 multiplied by 2 over here. All right. And that too we are considering it as positive. Why positive, friends? Because it's making, this force is making point, red point, rotate in an anti-clockwise sense. Therefore plus 147 into 2. Now this force Fn1, okay, it is in the upward direction. This is making the red point move in a clockwise sense. Therefore had decided we should have been minus over here on the left hand side. So minus Fn1 multiplied by the distance of Fn1 from the point. So the total distance is 6 plus 2, 8. So minus Fn1 into 8. If you take it on this side, it will be plus F1 into 8. And from this, only the unknown is Fn1. When you solve this, you get Fn1, that is the reaction exerted by the first support, equal to 356 Newton. Now this is something which you get after solving the equation for rotational equilibrium, friends. All right, this is something which you get after you solve it for rotational equilibrium. Now, why we have not considered Fn2? Because you can see Fn2 was passing through this red point, so there was no moment arm creating a torque over there. So ideally Fn2 had created a torque equal to 0 at this red point. All right. Therefore, you don't find any mention of Fn2 when we are estimating net torque equal to 0. But the second condition of equilibrium is F net equal to 0. That is, the net force is equal to 0. So upward forces should be equal to downward forces. What are the downward forces? Fg Penter and Fg Board. So add them. These are the downward forces. They should be equal to the upward forces. So upward forces are Fn1 and Fn2. So you can see Fn1 plus Fn2. Everything is known except Fn1. Sorry, Fn2. Fn1 is also known. Okay, we have worked out Fn1. What is it? 356. Put it over here. The only unknown is Fn2. And from this you can get the normal reaction exerted by the second support as 429 Newton. Please make a note of it, friends.